Hey guys, guess what I made? That's right, see a little bucket right here? This has soap in it. I made soap today. I told you I was just waiting for my lye to come and a couple other things like my cocoa butter to come from Organic Creations so that I can make my first batch of soap. I have to tell y'all, I have been dreaming about soap for, God, I was having soap dreams for like 2 weeks straight. And I was like, God, when it comes, I have to do it. I have to do it. I had to restrain myself yesterday after I showed you guys, the spread from everything that I got. I had to restrain myself from making it that night. But I was tired, and I was like, I have to be awake and alert when I do this, because handling lye can be dangerous. Luckily for me, I have a nice little open back area on my balcony that way, that I could stir the lye outside, so I didn't have to worry about fumes and inhaling all that stuff. So, what did I use? I started this cold process. There's cold process and then there's hot process. And then they say there's oven process, and I say that oven process is just hot process because you're still using heat to cure the soap faster, instead of waiting 4 to 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks or however long your particular soap takes to cure after it's cut. That's called saponification, for those that don't know. Usually in cold process, you make the soap, you mix it to trays, you pour it in the mold, and then you let it sit, take it out the next day, cut it, and then stack it on like a mesh or on racks to let it cure. And during the curing process, the water dries out and the lye burns out the water and it saponifies. That's the heat, and it does so standing out on its own. In my case, I don't have the time to wait 4 to 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks for a soap to cure in individual bars, because I'm going to be moving in about 4 or 5 weeks or so, and I don't have that kind of time to sit around and wait. So I did a cold process and then switched over to an oven process, which means I blended my oils, my water, my lye to trace. Yes, this is a tallow soap. It's majorly tallow, has 74 ounces of tallow in it. Cocoa butter, vegetable oil, and olive oil is in here. So I got everything together, and I mixed everything like I was supposed to. And I put my oils in this pot. This is a 12-quart porcelain over steel pot. As you can see, I've cleaned it already, and I was able to do so because saponification happened while the soap was in the pot and in the oven, and so there's no lye. So I put it in here. I mixed everything up with my stick blender. Y'all have seen it, the one that I have that has the different attachments, and got it to trace, a nice thick trace, which I was so happy that I could see that, because they say your first time as making soap that it's not easy to see. Well, I could see it, and I was happy. And after I put it to trace, I put the lid that comes with it on it, and I put it in the oven. Here, ignore the tape. It's the only way I can keep the oven closed for the temperature to stay in. Here's the lid. Put the lid on it, threw it in the oven. The oven was preheated to 200 degrees. And at 200 degrees, I put it in and turned it down to 100 and I think it's about 190. It was supposed to be 180, but I think it was 10 degrees higher because my stove is electric and it's an old one, so I don't really, know in between, so I guesstimated. Anyway, it went in there for 20 minutes, which I did 20 minutes on my timer right here. 20 minutes on timer. And when I came back after 20 minutes, it looked like thick custard, just like they told me it would. And then after the thick custard, I stirred it up really good, which hurt my arms and my hand, if you can believe it. I mean, really hurt. And then I put another 20 minutes on the clock. So far we're at 40 minutes. Not counting probably about the half an hour it took for the oil and the lye to come to temperature together. So, after that 20 minutes, the soap looked like Vaseline, which they call the gel stage. and that's when the oils separate and the soap starts to stick around the side of the pot. So I went in and I stirred up all those oils, blended them all back in real fast, and noticed that it started to look like mashed potatoes. And they say at the mashed potato stage, you can take some of the soap out and actually let it cool and then put it to your tongue to see if you get a sting, a burn, or anything like that. If you get a sting or a burn, you know, or it feels like your tongue is on fire, then you know that your soap is still lye heavy and it has to go back into the oven some more. In my case, I put it to my tongue. I didn't slobber all over the pieces of soap, for those that are wondering. But I did not get a lye burn. And then I washed my hand with this piece of soap, and oh, so creamy, luxurious bubbles. So I probably could have called the soap done then, but I put it back in the oven with the lid for 20 minutes, for 20 more minutes. So far, I'm at an hour of complete soap time. After that 20 minutes, I took it out and it was ready to pour. And this is my soap mold for my basic soap anyway. There's nothing in this. This is just the tallow. I want to get this out of here. This is just the tallow, the vegetable oil, olive oil, and the cocoa butter. There's no scents in here. There's no additives. It's just a plain white basic soap, just like the book said that it would be. And yes, I took my ingredients from the book, and having the pre-measurements already made it really easy. So this is the soap. This is what it should look like. If you can see here, it's still like kind of loose hairs because it is cooling. It's cooling in here. And I can touch it. I can touch it and my hands don't burn. There's no burning of my hands. And there's no slimy feel to it, which means that my weight and measurements were dead on for the soap, because extra oils mean that you didn't do your calculations right. I didn't have to calculate, I just followed the recipe. This is going to be hardened and hand milled. So once it hardens all the way, it'll probably take until sometime tomorrow. But once it hardens, I'm going to cut it down the middle, and then I'm going to put it in my miter block and chop it. And then I'm going to take pieces and grate them up and add some water to it. And I'm going to make a cucumber facial soap. And that's called hand milling. And that's why I start with just a basic plain soap with nothing in it for those recipes. Because I've seen people, like I want to make a coconut. I want to make a coconut milk and honey soap. And I've seen people use milk and honey in their soaps, and it burns so bad because they put it in at the beginning of the lye process, or even when it's just to a medium trace, they start putting in their additives and then pouring it into stuff. I mean, and you can. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying that you can't. But with the lye being that hot, the milk and everything burns. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to grate it down or rebatch it or whatever they want to call it. That's all I'm going to do. So there's my soap. I'd wash my hands for you, but I can't hold on to this camera and wash at the same time since my hands hurt. This is fairly soft. Little pieces here. Hopefully it'll get a little harder. If not, it's okay. I mean, I can still shave it. So I made my soap. I can stop having soap dreams now. Alright, people. Later.